Do you not want to become a millionaire? Do you struggle from low self-esteem or a lack of desire to become a millionaire? Hi, I'm Donnie Floconomica. I'm a motivational speaker and miniature plane collector based out of West New Jersey, and I've got the answers to all of these questions. I spent 18 years learning the secrets of the business world by interviewing real-life businessmen and real-life businesswomen. Then I took that knowledge to the streets, giving speeches at school assemblies, workplace training, conferences, professional development days, and the occasional wake. My focus is giving people the motivation to become millionaires, but not everyone liked what I had to say. I mean, you don't get a copy of How to Win Friends and Influence People this beat up unless you're willing to make a few enemies. Some of the more common excuses I heard were things like, oh, I'm only in elementary school, I'm a young child, I don't even have a bank account. I got 2 words for you, kiddo: bull Oni, okay? It is never too early to start working towards that first yacht. I was looking at the television set the other day, you know what came on, that Dancing with the Stars Juniors edition where they have like the child dancers as contestants. I bet those kids are already making a decent living. All right, they're already like providing for their families. Sarah Palin's grandson, bright young man, he was one of the contestants. I would imagine that kid is already at his first mill. And I think Sarah Palin ought to start pumping out more grandkids because that is the kind of future I want for this country. Another common excuse I hear is, oh, I'm already happy with my life. Like, I don't need all that money. I don't need to rise above my station or some such, right? I say baloney to that as well. I think it's just a coping mechanism. You're just lying to yourself because, trust me, I have seen the kinds of cars that these people are driving, and I can tell you they are not happy. Now, you can tell yourself whatever you want to believe, right? Like, you can make all sorts of excuses, but what it all comes down to is that people are scared of the haters. That's the number one reason. That's the only reason, the only true reason that people don't want to become millionaires is because they're scared of what the haters are going to say. Like, think back on your own life, right? We all have haters. Think back on your own life. Maybe it's a family member, right? Maybe it's a niece or a nephew. Maybe it's a jilted lover. Maybe it's a career counselor at your local high school that you attend. Maybe it's a cashier. Maybe you at like a gas station, you go in to get $10 worth of gas on pump number 3, and the cashier's telling you you're worthless, telling you you're never going to make it in this business. I can understand the fear. I myself have felt it many a time. It's a very human, universal thing to be scared of what other people are going to think of you. But I've got this story. It's the same story I've been telling all the professional development days, all the school assemblies, right, all the wakes. It's a bit silly, bit metaphorical, allegorical, whatever, you know, a bit of a fable. But I can guarantee that it will give you the motivation to finally wake up and become a millionaire. So once upon a time, stay with me, right? There's this caterpillar, and all of his family and his friends and his coworkers, they were making fun of him one day. They were all dogging on him, right? Kicking him in the ribs, kicking him in the teeth, kicking him in the shins, right? Uppercut to the jaw, uppercut to the shins, just hitting him all over, saying, you're never gonna make it anywhere, making fun of him, saying he was too green, calling him too fat, saying he had too many legs, saying he didn't have the drive or the gumption to do anything with his life, saying he had too many weird spots on his body, calling him too fuzzy, saying he was poor, right? And here's the important one, saying he was never going to be a millionaire and that he should give up trying. Well, as I'm sure you can imagine, that caterpillar went home feeling pretty discouraged that night. And he thought to himself, why bother? Maybe you've thought that to yourself in your own personal head. But here's the difference. That caterpillar, he went out and he watched a video from a motivational speaker, and it made him realize that every successful person has had haters, right? Think back, all of the greats throughout history have had those same kind of people dogging on them, like Alexander the Great, for example, right? You think people weren't calling him fat back in the day? Absolutely they were. You think people weren't saying he had too many legs back in the day? I know for a fact that they were. But what did he do? He got an army and he killed a bunch of people and he became like king of the known world, I think, emperor or something. And look at him now. He's got libraries named after him. He's got babies named after him. And what are those same haters from before? What are they calling him now? They're not calling him Alexander the Fat, right? They're saying Alexander the military genius. Alexander the Conqueror. Dolly Parton, same exact story. When Dolly Parton was getting started, all the big executives sitting there in their fancy old boardrooms smoking their big cigars, they were saying, oh, here's just another uppity caterpillar. That's what they were calling her. They were saying, oh, here comes another uppity caterpillar. Seen a million of them. But guess what? She has a theme park named after her. Riddle me this, haters, who had the last laugh? So after realizing that, the caterpillar, he looked back on his own memories, and he took all the negative energy from all the haters telling him stuff, right? Telling him that he was never gonna fly, and telling him he was never gonna achieve his dreams, and saying he was always gonna have to be on the ground, and saying that he was never gonna be like the Wright brothers, and saying he was always gonna be an ugliest shade of like greenish gray, and saying he would never look any more elegant or beautiful floating through the sky, and saying that he would never be anything more than a grubby little landlocked caterpillar crawling around on leaves around ankle height. And you know what that caterpillar did? He took all that negative energy. You know what he did? He ate a bunch of food, and he went to sleep for a really long time. And then he became the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. Something to think about, isn't it? If you were impressed by this speech and would like to book me for a school assembly or company retreat, please visit my website at www.donaldfloconomica.com.net. I also do quinceañeras.